The second game of the Passant bracket tournament of March 2016 was between Wei Fan with white and Nathan Paluck, that is I, with black. Let's see what happens. Wei Fan, perhaps the strongest player in Passant psychologically, never gives up, extremely tough player. I've been up a whole piece against him and then you get slightly lazy, and sure enough, he wins back the piece and he beats you. So definitely one of the best players on Passant. Very positional, patient, definitely the most patient player on Passant. And we'll see that for sure in this game. So pretty standard, fairly boring opening here. We just trade away, very, very symmetrical. And here I definitely want the trade as black and was very happy to get it. I was a little surprised. The idea is that when he does trade, I simply get a free tempo almost in development. And, he's behind in development. I was expecting him maybe just to sidestep it, pressure this pawn, but no, we traded. So I was quite happy coming out of the opening. Of course, saying that he does have the bishop, but the bishop is most powerful when it's an open game, and if you notice, there's lots of pawns on the board, so that's when the horsey gets sneaky and just hops all over the place. So I was happy. Let's see what happens. I was just, so from here on in, my strategy basically is just to limit the mobility of the dark squared bishop, just to really close the position, while his goal would be to open up the position. Happy with getting, a nice file from my rook there. And yeah, I'm getting my goal here. I was a little surprised he went here. I thought he would definitely put his bishop on this very nice square here where he's just, looking at everything, but he puts himself in the corner. I was a bit surprised by that. So I'm just looking for a better square first of all, I'm protecting my my pawn and just looking for better squares for my knight. Castles, I continue getting space and locking down those dark squares. And right now, this square will definitely be the battlefield. He's building up his pieces. If you notice, he has 4 pieces looking at this square, but I have it under control. I also have 4 pieces defending, so totally cool and calm. And really, there's nothing else to do but go to war here, and that's what happens. So we exchange away, and I was expecting us to just exchange everything, after this, for him to take, and sure enough, Wei is left with dominating this open file. But, notice my pawn structure, definitely more sound. I can just basically dedicate the rest of the game attacking these pawns. I might even just swing on over and look to exchange. Be very happy with that. But it's not what happens. After I took here, he declined to take, interestingly enough. Maybe he was thinking he just wants to keep his bishop. Maybe he saw what I saw and didn't want to go into that endgame. So he simply moves his king there. I was extremely surprised and also very pleased. I'm left up a pawn. And sure enough, the computer says that I am better. By the way, there's computer analysis I'm using here. You can't see it. It's off the side of the board there. This is a great website, free, online chess games, and this very nice analysis board with Lichess, kind of a unfortunate name they chose, like in between Lycan and Liechtenstein, but great website, nice and clean. So he moved the king. I was definitely surprised, and hey, I'm up a pawn, so I'm feeling good. Now this is an interesting moment. I was very happy to solidify this horse. I mean, this horse is just, a total beast here. But in fact, this was a mistake, and the computer analysis tells me the much better thing to do, and this was a mistake because it leaves this pawn permanent weakness, and that'll come back to haunt me. I mean, in the end, he's just going to put his rooks there and just totally gang up on this pawn. So that was a mistake, and in fact, the suggested move is simply knight here. The idea first to attack this rook. So let's just see what the computer says. Sometimes it's nice just to follow what the computer says. And so here I just lock down this square with my knight, and my pawn, just protects here, and this is actually much better. So, whatever. That's tough to see when you're a mediocre player like myself. But that was the ideal move. Anyway, didn't do it. I pushed my pawn. I was very happy with it. I just have this kind of thorny dark square protection. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm up the pawn. But how do I attack? That's the question. That will be my permanent issue this entire game. Whaley Fan knows what he wants to do. He wants to gang up on that pawn. So I start defending. Defend with the king, which is always kind of like, do you really want to defend the pawn with a king? Not so much. And let's see what happens. I would love to exchange here. That would be fantastic. But not surprisingly, he declines. So I get in, already starting to think about defending this pawn. I know that's what he will be up to. And another theme is I'm always concerned about some kind of break, even a sacrifice. I don't want to, say he takes here and then breaks through with his rook. That could really cause me problems. This is a weakness. These two ranks back here for me. So basically, I overprotect with this rook. Here we go. Sure enough, he doubles up his rooks, ready for the attack. But right now, I have everything covered, and I swing my knight back in. I'm a bit lost here. I don't really know what to do, and you'll see me just kind of fiddling around with my knight. Basically, this is a great square, but how do I then attack? That's an issue I have the entire game. And Fan, however, he knows what he wants to do. I mean, he has a clear route for his king just to get in there, and start harassing these pawns. Meanwhile, notice my king is a bit tied up. So this is, I'm up a pawn, but notice this pawn is also, this is my extra pawn here, but I can't move it. I can't even really break with it. So I have some issues. I mean, I'm totally fine. I'm defending, but Fan, curiously enough, is on the attack while I'm just kind of sitting back and defending. So here we go. I'm just fiddling around with my knight. Not really sure what I'm doing. And I want to prevent his king here from breaking through. So I realize in doing that, he will certainly push and will exchange here. But I really just wanted to lock down this king side from him strolling through. He pushes, we exchange, and I defend. So where are we? Well, I'm totally tied up. I'm just defending everything. But he also doesn't have a clear break. And one thing I have to be careful for is this idea. Him breaking through and winning my knight. Say something like this. And then he's won back his pawn, and this guy is in my back ranks, and that's an issue. So another theme is me over-defending here. This is why I'm keeping my rook here. So I'm a bit tied up. Let's see what happens. Move my king. Just kind of shuffling around, really. And now defending my knight. I'm a bit surprised he didn't go ahead for the exchange, because, he wins back his pawn, and then his king strolls through. Oops, he strolls through like that. But he declines. He simply brought his bishop back, and we continue shuffling around. Defends, shuffling, and that was my fatal mistake. So if you recall the past theme about him taking with the bishop and getting his rook in, well, that only happens if my knight is on the same rank as, if my king is on the same rank as my knight. So it's a theme I knew to avoid, but lo and behold, I forgot. And this was turns out to be actually my fatal mistake. So Wei Li gets his break. He goes in for it. He wins back the pawn and also breaks through my defense at the same time. My thorny defense is broken. We have this even structure. The difference being that my king is totally cut off. His king is free to come in and wreak havoc. And yeah, that was pretty devastating. I forgot about that. And from here on in, it's move 42. The game went to 80 plus moves. We're only halfway. But from here on in, this rook and pawn endgame, it's basically me just making lots of mistakes and doing my best to hold on. Right now, the computer has Wei Li with a +3 advantage, which is the same as being up 3 pawns. In fact, once he broke through with his rook back on this move here, it would have been better for me simply to move back. This seems incredibly scary. It's like, oh, geez, I'm going to get mated here. But, in fact, my rook is holding things down. It's defending the square. Totally fine. Let's see what the computer says could have happened if I simply had moved my king back, which would have been the better move. So he takes my knight. I pop in here, attacking these pawns, also looking to attack with check here. So he has to deal with that, hide his king. And sure enough, we just go into lots of gobbling up pawns. And we're set up for this kind of, crazy endgame in which we're all, just scrambling to push these past pawns down the board. That did not happen, mostly just because I didn't see this move. It seemed totally terrifying. And that's one of the big differences in human play versus computer play. It's like, who wants to move their king in the corner when you have these rooks staring you down? But in fact, that was the move to do. So, move 42. I'm not going to spend too much time with this. It's pretty miserable. It's me shuffling my rooks all around. It's just trying my best to hold on. Fan has a clear advantage. And here he goes ahead and just breaks through. Of course, I'm trying my best to get some kind of draw, but he'll have none of that. And here we are. Right now the computer has fan at +10, which is basically resign time. But, we're not computers, so might as well fight on a little bit. And here my last little idea is to push Charlie the C pawn. There goes Charlie. My idea is very simple. I want a queen, and I will give up this rook to get the queen. And for a moment I thought, whoa, I may have quite the idea here. But let's see what happens. So if he simply ignores my threat, which is, pretty ballsy to just ignore it, but if he ignores it, simply takes, I get a queen. And of course I was thinking, oh yeah, I can at least maybe try for some kind of perpetual check back here, or try to, scoop up these pawns somehow. But in fact, he can simply cool and calmly move his rook over, guarding this file, looking to queen himself with check the next move. And my checks run out. I can't really I can't really do much. He can shuffle around a bit, but he can escape basically, not shuffle around. He escapes basically. So it's pretty wild. I have no perpetual, and the king escapes. I'm sure there's other. I'm not making the best moves here, but the point is, even that he could have simply ignored my threat, and the next move, just simply, I don't know, something like this, and then, well, it's all over. So, interestingly enough, Charlie the Sea Pawn was never even a concern, but for all practical, standpoints, he was like, he's gonna make a queen. So he at least lets me live for a little while longer. I scoop up the 2 pawns, and I think, hey, maybe a draw, but no, not possible. He's got the 2 connected pawns. He's got his king in much better position. This rook is, cutting off my king. It's all over. We can show the last moves, but basically I'm just playing for a draw here, but I have none. Congrats to Whaley Fan. We saw his patience, just like very calm. He was down a pawn. He made some mistakes in the beginning, but very patient, just waited for my mistake, and he wins it. Here we go. You see him, trying for, any kind of trick to get stalemated, basically. But Whaley Fan is way too smart for that. So, congrats to Whaley Fan taking me down in a brutal 85 move game, totally positional, and excellent job by Whaley Fan. And thanks for watching.